Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholoyim La Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachachachodash. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to say thawada to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan the Walk, just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. Another update, going into the wars and rumors of wars, which Yahushua spoke of. UK, United Kingdom, vows defense after Iran declares bases a target. So, of course, you're a damn target if you're helping the U.S. out and you have bases that's allowing them to fly their planes off of or shoot missiles off of or whatever the case may be. You're involved. So you're fair game. But this is just a rile up because you got Russia. Let me just grab the quick scripture with what Yahushua said. You got the rile up with Russia because Russia is right on the European borders with a lot of different countries that are a part of the NATO. So any missile going off scale or hitting into, somewhere like Poland or any of these countries that's on the border of Russia, they can, consider that to be an attack on all of NATO, which I think that's what's called Article 5 or Article 25 or something like that, where basically if one nation is struck, then all nations get in on the fight. And it's like about 30 or so nations that's in NATO. So we know that Russia has a big get together, so to speak, with Iran. They down with each other. China, because Russia and China, they are supplying Iran with, strategic military missiles and ammo themselves and, images or whatever from their satellites, so they know where to strike. How do you think Iran has been able to pretty much overall strike all these different places with such precision? Because they're getting help. And these are big allies, man. Russia and China, they're going to take part in the destruction of America to go along with all the allies too. Because see, these allied countries like the UK and, all these different countries that's a part of NATO, they're tired of America. Because America has been dogging them out, talking shit to them. Basically, it's almost like having that, you're 18 years old and you got that 7-8-year-old brother that's always trying to follow you around. He a part of the family, but the 18-year-old brother is bullying you and making you go do shit, you know what I'm saying? Just shitting on you, that's always talking shit to you, But then that particular brother grows up to be an adult, so to speak, and he has the strength to actually, get down with big brother. So, but let's get what Yahushua spoke of in Matthew chapter 24. Now the disciples asked him what would be happening in the end times. Matthew 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, matter of fact, let me read it in the Amplified, the AMP. While Yahushua, which we use the true name of the Father and Son, the true name of the Father is Yahweh, which means he exists, or the existing one. Yah meaning he, existing one. Hawa going into he is to be, or the existing one. Yahweh. And the true name of the Son is Yahushua. Yah meaning he, Yahushua is going into a savior or deliverer in the Paleo Hebrew, because there was no letter J 15 and 2,000 years ago. The letter J was invented 500 years ago by a grammarian named Giorgio Trissino. So that was in 1524. You can actually Google it and look it up. You'll get the history on when the letter J was invented. Right around the time when, the Renaissance, they started to whitewash pictures. They gave you white Jesus, which is a damn idol. And that idol goes further back, but, mainly with Esau, Edom. That's the biblical name for the so-called white man or the so-called white race. When he came into power, and he's been in power for a long time, and the Lord is actually about to take him out of that power stance that he has. But during that particular time period, he whitewashed a lot of images. He made himself look like he was the righteous. You got those Israelis over there, fronting as if they're the holy people and that they come from Jacob, when in reality they come from Esau. So all these things are starting to be unraveled in these last days. Even the name is very important. And this is for you so-called blacks Hispanics and Native Americans. The name of the Lord is very, very important. Your Lord in heaven is not some white guy that was beaten into our people during slavery. They done a very good job of portraying themselves as the righteous, and they're not. They are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, and the very top crown that the Lord is coming to take is the crown of these so-called white people that's running the planet right now, because they are the ultimate ones that have destroyed the earth. And the scriptures talks about how the Lord is going to destroy those that destroy the earth, man. So, but anyway, Matthew 24 in the Amplified. While Yahushua was seated on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately and said, "Tell us, when will this destruction of the temple take place, and what will be the sign of your coming and the end, completion, consummation of the age?" So in the KJV, it says the end of the world. But this is the proper adjustment here, because it's a consummation of an age. That word world is not talking about, the word world has many, I think it's about maybe 20 definitions for the word world. But you have to put the word world in the right context. This is talking about the end of an age, the end of a rulership, the end of a kingdom. And we're at the end of Esau, Edom's kingdom. But Yahushua, he went on to say in verse 4, Yahushua answered, "Be careful that no one misleads you, deceiving you and leading you into error." And a part of that leading into error is white Jesus, which is a damn idol. "For many will come in my name, misusing it and appropriating the strength of the name which belongs to me, saying, I am the Messiah, the anointed." Or they say Christ. We say the Mashiach, the anointed. "And they will mislead many," which is a lot of preachers out here, pastors out here. You got men out here that's actually saying that they are the Lord. You got men out here that's saying that they're King David. They're John the Baptist. They're all these different people. They're bug outs, man. Verse 6, it says, the point, "You will continually hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place, but that is not yet the end of the age. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, earthquakes in various places." There was an earthquake yesterday in Texas. I seen rolling by on the bottom of the ticker when I was watching the news yesterday. Scrolling on the ticker, I didn't even go into it, but it's been various earthquakes. They're not even talking about this one that just happened in Cuba. They still finding bodies. The death toll is supposedly be up to like 6,000 or so. You had them two major ones over there. Then you can look up the earthquake app right now, and you'll see that it's been earthquakes since this morning. It's probably done been 100 or so of them, because they're happening so rapidly, right? So that's the point that I wanted to get on that, with the wars, rumors of wars. But let's just read a little bit of this. They just pretty much got the bullet points up here. Damn, they took the damn article away. Salakia, let me see if I can find it again. I'm in the Perplexity app. Here it is right here. UK vows defense after Iran declares bases a target. Britain, and now mind you, they got this new British prime minister that just was sworn in like 2-3 days ago. And they got rid of Steimer. And we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. That guy was... They don't just get rid of people and put other people in there for no reason. These small tops that isn't reals, Ray, you know who I'm talking about. These people are very smart and strategic, man. They've been planning shit for, a long, long time, man. The shit that they're doing been in the works for centuries. Now they're down to a point of implementing their full plan, and they're about to get down on you Americans, man. Okay, but it says, Britain said its armed forces are ready 24/7 after Iran's IRGC warned that any UK base used by US to strike Iran is a legitimate target. And I mean, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Shit, why wouldn't it be? Iran's IRGC warned Thursday that British bases hosting US bombers, including RAF Fairford, are legitimate targets, accusing London of enabling aggression. Here's the new PM name. His name is Andy Burnham. Burnham, right? Andy Burnham last week endorsed the continued use of UK bases for US defense. So why is he, all of a sudden, he's the new prime minister and he's already on this tip? And he's basically going to do the same thing that Trump did. You know, Trump came in with the Make America Great Again, because I watched some of the guy's speech. You know, they come, as PM Steimer was going out, they called the guy up. He was talking about how he was going to get the economy back together. Same old shit, same old speech that Trump pretty much overall gave. But they about to take these people to war, man. Okay, it says PM Prime Minister Andy Burnham last week endorsed the continued use of UK bases for U.S. defenses, strikes on Iran, continuing predecessor Keir Starmer policy, according to Bloomberg. So somebody in there fucked up, man. And you ain't even hearing about this guy. You ain't heard nothing else about Lindsey Graham. They ain't said nothing about this nigga's funeral. They ain't said nothing about nothing, bro. You ain't heard about this nigga no more. This nigga went to Ukraine, had a meeting, came back the following couple of hours, and this nigga was dead. He croaked. And you ain't heard nothing about this dude no more. And you know how hardcore he was going about bombing Iran and all this different stuff. So some of these men, who knows, they get in there, they make the wrong moves, they say the wrong things. Matter of fact, they're just not useful no more. These people will knock your ass off just for the information that you know. When they suck you up and get whatever information they need to get out of you, sometimes they'll just discard of you, man. Just never know. Me speaking as a man. Okay, but this this bullet point says a UK government spokesperson said Britain's armed forces stand ready 24/7 to defend country, citing layered air and missile defense capabilities with NATO allies. See? So overall, this is Israel, the least of the flock. Went into that yesterday. But let's get it again. The least of the flock shall draw them out. Where is it at here? Let me see here. Salakia. Might have been 20. It's Jeremiah. You know what, I'm tripping. Jeremiah 49 and 20. And Jeremiah 50 and 45, actually. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom. And that's the biblical name for the so-called white race. See, you have to really realize that the names that people are calling themselves these days in 2026, calling themselves Germans, Russians, Belgium, Australians or Austrias, whatever the fuck they calling themselves, those are not biblical names. And see, the Lord is bringing those names back into the earth, just like his name is being brought back into the earth. Yahweh, the Paleo-Hebrew is being brought up. These nations are being called for who they really, really are. These Edomites are so-called white people today. There's no such thing as white people. They're actually pinkish to reddish in color. They don't look like a glass of milk, like snow, or like clouds. They are actually red. They look more like brake lights on a fucking car, man. That's what they look like. And that's what Edom is described as when you go into Genesis chapter 25. He was described as coming out of the womb being red. Blood showing forth through their skin. That's what they don't have no melanin. And that's that mark of Cain. But it says, again, Jeremiah 49 and 20, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman, which Teman is like the smartest ones of them Germans, them Temanites, the ones that's calling themselves German, basically. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. The least of the flock is these Israelis. Them small tops. They're the ones that's running shit. They just blended their military with the American military on you Americans, and you doofy motherfuckers are sitting at home still watching your bullshit Netflix shows. You should be out here up in arms. It says, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So their habitations are about to become desolate. And how is that going to happen? Let's go to Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So this new war is going to be with burning and fuel of fire, nuclear might. And I wouldn't doubt if Esau, Edom, these Americans, and of course the Israel, because they're the ones that's in charge. Amalek, that's the top tribe of the Edomites. the so-called Israelis over there, the isn't reals, you know. I wouldn't doubt it if they don't use a nuclear weapon on Iran over there soon, man. But that's me speaking as a man. Now this guy right here, let's see if we can get this guy. I just wanted to know, because it just came up in my spirit to just see Andy Burnham. Let's see this guy right here, right? Let me copy that real quick. I want to do a search on this guy to see if he's a small top. He might be a small top. Let me do this. Is PM Andy Burnham. Let's just put it in here. Is he a Jew? Shit, fuck it. It says, no, UK Minister Andy Burnham is not Jewish. He is a lifelong Roman Catholic. Well, you can be a Roman Catholic and still be a Jewish person. Or, you know, what they call a Jewish person, because there's no such thing as a Jewish person. That word Jew is just short for Judah, the fourth son of Jacob. I didn't ask if he was Jewish. I asked, was he a Jew? Says he maintained a long-standing working relationship with Jewish community in Greater Manchester from his time as mayor, working closely, see that, with local Jewish leaders and synagogue communities. And this is why I'm telling you, man, see, they don't pick these people for